FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. We are catching up with our sponsor, Luminex Resources. It is among the most intriguing opportunities out there, and you can find them at luminexresources.com. And they're listed on the TSX Venture under LR and the OTCQX under LUMIF. And with us now, I have CEO Marshall Koval and VP of Corporate Development, Scott Hicks. And guys, it's great to have you back on.
Yeah, Kerry, good to talk to you again and hear your listeners today. Appreciate the opportunity, and I hope you're staying safe out in this new world with COVID and everything.
Yeah, we're trying, but short of being, staying in a bubble, I always say life can be hazardous to your health.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, hey, one thing, I was looking at the company's share structure, and the fully diluted 94 million shares, and insiders and Ross Beatty, over 45% is off the table. So your float really is slightly over 40 million shares.
Scott, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is with our group, Kerry, and our group of companies is we always have had, really strong support from people who've been following the group for, 20 plus years almost. And, we do get these big blocks of holders. So in Luminex, obviously we have Ross just under 20, and then, a group of Ecuadorian entrepreneurs own a fairly large block. And then obviously, the day-to-day management participates in all the financing. So no, you're right. It gives an opportunity for, when we do see good news out of the drill bit to get those kind of larger pops, that we like to see.
Yeah, for sure. And I find it interesting that not only is the Lumina Group blessed with loyal management and employees, but also blessed with loyal shareholders.
Yeah, I mean, we've been together, Ross founded the Lumina Group back in sort of 2004, and we had a whole series of copper companies where we raised about 160 million and returned about 1.5 million to the shareholders in the copper companies. And that was
billion, Marshall.
Billion,
trying to tree up there.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, billion. And, from all that, we've garnered a long-standing group of followers and shareholders, and they generally stuck with the stories. And, the Luminex story right now is pretty amazing in that we have 2 joint ventures with we have one with BHP and then one with Anglo American, looking at some of our copper projects that we have in Ecuador. They're earlier stage, but high discovery potential projects. And then we're advancing our Condor project ourselves. And Kerry, you probably saw the drill results that we just put out recently. And we had one hole in particular where we had 17 meters of 8 grams per ton gold. And then in that same drill hole, we had another 5 meters, with 2 grams per ton gold. And then we had gold intercepts throughout it. And this is in the Camp Zone area that we put a resource out recently. And we're advancing the Condor project. It's got about 5.2 million ounces of gold, and we're advancing that towards engineering. And we hope by the end of the second half of next year, we'll have a PEA study out to take a look at the economic potential of the Condor project itself. And then meanwhile, we hope that both BHP and Anglo will be drilling. They both have drill targets at their respective properties. BHP at Tarqui, hopefully they'll be drilling before the end of the year. And then Anglo American at our Pegasus project. These are large copper porphyry targets. Hopefully they'll be drilling there sometime early next year. So, we're really excited about that. And then Scott, you might talk a little bit about Cascas.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that's in the portfolio that, really hasn't gotten any attention so far. And we've just kind of been getting it drill ready in the background, for the last kind of year and a half. And right now we're thinking we're just waiting for the final samples to come out of the field that the guys have been doing, and Carrie's just kind of hard yards. Guys are cutting lines and taking soil and rock samples over hundreds of meters and trying to figure out kind of where the best spots to drill are. But this specific area has had lots of historical gold alluvial mining in it, so we know there's gold in the area. So we just got to find the right spots to drill now. So we're hoping to be able to drill there late this year or early next year. That's excellent. And I assume permits are easily obtainable, if not already obtained. Yeah, we're in good shape there. They've expedited the permits in Ecuador now. You can get drilling under scout drilling, it's called, and so we're planning to get in there on that basis, and we've established a good relationship with the community and have been giving them some jobs with our early work there. So things are going well. That's great, and it's always good when you have a hospitable government that is there to make things easier rather than there to put up obstacles and roadblocks in your path. So, Marshall, I mean, this is one of a number of discoveries you've made. Do you still get the rush, the excitement from a new discovery, or is it just becoming you kind of just used to it and you expect it?
I've been a geologist for over 40 years in the industry, and even though I'm more involved in management and a lot of the engineering focus, I love seeing drill results. And discovery is a great thing, and we have a really good group of geologists led by Leo Hathaway, who's been with Ross and myself since 2004. Really dedicated guys, smart guys. So discovery doesn't ever get old.
I guess no matter how old you get, it's still like you're a little kid, right, Scott? You get the email or you get the envelope, and you can't wait to tear it open and see what's inside.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And we had that at the camp zone obviously last year when kind of each drill result was wildly different from the one before, and you were kind of getting it as a play-by-play as the results come in. But it's fun once you feel like you're onto something for sure.
Yeah, and I guess so. You're going to be updating your resource with the latest drilling results shortly.
We're continuing to test this camp zone area, and eventually we'll update the resource. But it's kind of interesting. It's cut up into a couple pieces. There's the main camp zone, and to the northwest, it's offset a little bit by a fault. So we went and drilled up there, and we found that the zone continues. And then we're testing the southeast portion of the camp zone, and it's about 1 kilometer long, and we're drilling right now by the area that's bounded by the fault, and we're looking at that. So we're still figuring out the potential of this thing. It's open at depth, and it's open in both directions. So we have roughly a 1 million ounce gold equivalent resource there that we think will continue to grow. So that's what we're doing. And really, there's other targets. This trend is about 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers long. And there's a target at Prometedor and Soledad Baja and some of these other areas that we haven't even fully tested yet. So we have a lot of potential gold discovery ahead of us. And, we hope to be racking up the ounces here and add to the resource estimate at the Condor project.
And your total land holdings here are quite vast, and you barely scratched the surface, right, Marshall?
Yeah, we spun Luminex out of Lumina Gold, and in Lumina Gold we have our Cangrejos project that's about a 17 million ounce gold copper porphyry deposit, and that's a project pretty far down the development path that ultimately we would look to exit and move it on to somebody that would build the project. But when all our assets were in Lumina Gold, we were the second largest concession holder in Ecuador. And then we spun everything except Cangrejos into Luminex. And we're still probably the second or third largest concession holder in Ecuador, just in Luminex. So we've got a lot of areas to do work. And, we're a well-financed group. We have the ability to raise money. We have the technical expertise. And we also have the expertise to operate in a country like Ecuador. A lot of us in management and on the ground are bilingual, and we've spent a lot of our life in Latin America. So I think it's one thing to understand a language, but it's another thing to understand the culture and know how to work with governments. And, we're pretty good at that. So, we're looking forward to a long history of further discovery.
And Scott, looking at the stock here, it's up, it's down, it's kind of a sawtooth pattern, but definitely way up since the March lows. And I guess there's so much there, and got a resource, you got multi resources, you've got amazing JV partners, majors. And what do you think is going to be the event that really draws the attention of the public and really brings this company to another level?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, if you look at our market cap right now at kind of about $80 million Canadian, I would say that the resource we have at Condor, fully supports that valuation, if not, still being a bit undervalued, but let's call that fully supporting that valuation. I think, and obviously COVID slowed things down a touch, but as soon as we can get BHP and Anglo mobilized to the field, I mean, if you see a hit in either of those projects, it's going to be a game changer for the stock. That belt where BHP is working in, just to the south of it, there's already a large copper gold mine. And to the north of it, there's another company that's recently had a lot of success on a very similar asset there called Solaris, working Warintza. So that belt is really just full of these copper porphyry targets. And, we think that's what we have there at Tarky, but only the drilling from BHP will prove it. So, a hit from either of those guys, continued success at Condor will help move the needle. But I think, getting that second discovery, large discovery in the company is really going to be what does it. And so either it'll be from, Anglo BHP, which they're operating, or perhaps even from, Cascas, where we're looking to explore now. So, we've got lots of irons in the fire, and we think that, there's a good probability that one of them will take off here.
Yeah, and on top of that, Kerry, once we get to the point where we define a PEA and complete a PEA on Condor, that should be another catalyst that helps the stock as well. I want to say one thing when we were talking about the drill results. Actually, I made a mistake with the 17-meter intercept. It was only 4 grams per ton, or just shy of 4 grams per ton, not 8. So
Only.
Don't like to mislead people. So my bad.
Not a problem. And so we're looking at upcoming catalysts. Obviously, they're not too far out. The price of gold has been extremely cooperative, in the $1,900 range now, hit an all-time nominal high over 2,000. And at some point, the company's got to be trading along with gold, right?
Yeah, we've moved up with gold, but I think if you look at kind of just the existing Condor project itself and the number of ounces of gold in the ground, Scott, what are we trading at roughly there per ounce in the ground? And I guess the point I'm trying to make is I think there's a lot of upside, and we haven't fully moved up with the gold price yet.
Yeah, I mean, we trade a shade under $10 an ounce in the ground. So, I mean, obviously a fraction of the gold prices you'd expect. But typically developers these days are trading, between kind of, I know it's a wide range, but between call it $50 and $100 an ounce in the ground. So, we think, there's lots of potential to move up there on the basis of the existing resource. And, the half the deposits at this large scale porphyry that, at $1,200, it doesn't look that exciting, but, at $2,000, it's, starts to look like a pretty interesting project, right? So there's a lot of different dynamics that have changed in the last 12 months here in this bull market.
Oh, for sure. And when we look at it, many projects that weren't viable even at $1,500 an ounce all of a sudden become vastly profitable. And looking at Luminex, the picture is only going to get better as the resource gets expanded.
100%. I think the other thing too that probably not everybody is aware of, there's somewhere on the order of $100 million of commitments from JV partners, Anglo and BHP, to advance these projects, and both of them have spent a fair amount of money to date. So, that's non-dilutive to the shareholders, and there's a real high potential discovery there in the copper space.
So it's really just a matter of time, right, Scott, till the stars align and the company is discovered and valued at what it should be, arguably, rather than what it's valued at today.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think, obviously it's a bumpy road, and we know that, Ecuador is a newer jurisdiction, and people, I've been with this group of companies for, over 3 years now, and it's been a constant education process and watching, the country evolve. But, everything we've seen has been, a net positive as we've seen these two big mines come online, and we've seen, political stability for a long period of time now, and we've seen a government that is really wanting to diversify the economy and get mines built and get projects in the pipeline. So I think investors are continuing to look at it, and there's more and more companies working there every day. So I think it's a positive future for that, and we obviously have a very large and prospective land package in an emerging country.
Yeah, and we'd remiss, we talked about it before, a prior discussion, but the fact that the oil price is so depressed, still at $40 a barrel, has forced the country, both from good sense and from necessity, to really expand the mining sector. And when you have that combined with a rising metal price and more ounces in the ground discovered, then you got a recipe for something special. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the months ahead and where this thing goes.
Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't think there's too many companies out there that, would potentially have drill results from, 4 different projects in most people's investment time horizons. So, we're definitely excited about that.
As well you should be. And Marshall, anything else you want to add to what we're talking about?
Well, I think it's really important to point out that in the context of political history in Ecuador has a lot of the same geology as Chile and Peru and Colombia. The whole Cordilleran that runs up the Andes is highly mineralized, and for all the reasons in the past, good and bad, it hasn't participated in growing its mining sector through the last super cycle, and now it's going to happen. They're going to move it forward. But the point that's most important, it's the most highly prospective geologic terrain that I've seen in Latin America, and I've worked all over Latin America, and for that matter, probably in the world. There's some African countries that have similar type potential, but we're really excited by the land position we have, the team we have, our ability to go into the market and bring shareholders along and raise the money we need to execute. So we're really excited about the future of our projects in Ecuador within Luminex.
As well you should be. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on. I suggest you go take a look at the website, luminexresources.com. Make sure you sign up for notifications so you get the latest drill results. And the ticker on the TSX Venture is LR. On the OTCQX is LUMIF. Gentlemen, really appreciate you coming on and keeping us up to date. Wish you the best of luck, and we'll be checking in with you shortly to find out what else you've found there.
All right, Kerry, thanks a lot to you and your listeners.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.